Hi, this is Fran Sisco. This is a shorter version of a longer story on my Facebook page under Francis Sisco, spelled S-I-S-C-O. It started when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I had this desire to be a girl. I would go to bed at night and I would pray many Hail Marys that I would wake up in the morning and I would be magically turned into a girl. But I lived my life as very much as a boy and then as a man, but still had that desire to be female. And what I would do is I would express that in occasional or frequent, sometimes, cross-dressing and keep it in secret until later on, after I got married, after I was leading a life very much as a man with a career at Price Waterhouse, where I worked for six years, white shirt, suit and tie, and big house, 7-bedroom house, lots of responsibilities, and eventually had a daughter later. But I would cross-dress and I would go out probably on weekends. Eventually my wife would know about that, and then eventually most of my friends too, but usually not my clients or my business associates. But anyway, I was so frustrated being in this stuffy, what I felt, left brain world as a guy, and I was much more creative than that, and I wanted to live more creatively, but also more sensitively, which I perceived that I could only do as a female, and I had this desire. But anyway, so what I did is I bought a business. It was a large retail store that sold toys, baby furniture, and sporting goods, and I was on my way to living androgynously. I would dress as I had long hair at the time. I grew my hair and had blonde highlights, and you know, I'd wear tight jeans and boots and loose fitting baggy sweaters and stuff, and I guess looked like a girl. And sometimes in the store, customers would come in, and from a distance, it was a big store, they would say, "Oh, miss, can you help me?" And then I would answer in my deep, regular voice, "Yes, sure, I can help you." And then they would say, oh, sorry. And, but I really loved being mistaken for a girl. Anyway, one day in that store, I'll keep the story shorter, a guy comes in. I didn't know him. He didn't look like a threat. He was an Irish-looking guy, with a good build, nice-looking guy. Wasn't unkempt. But anyway, it turned out that he wasn't really a valid customer. He wasn't really interested in a gift for his nephew that he said was 12 or 13 years old. Instead, when I handed him, when I was looking for a small bat to give him as a possible gift for his nephew, he pulled a larger bat out of a box next to it. When I turned around to hand him the smaller bat, he went over my head with the big bat, and he came down on it, and he fractured my skull. They told me later at the hospital it was in 14 places, and I nearly died from that. In fact, they told me that he didn't only hit me once, but while I was on the floor unconscious, laying in blood, he hit me twice more. I think he was really trying to kill me. So it was really a horrible experience. I recovered mostly from it, you know, without that much permanent damage, but it was risky for a while there. They thought I was going to die, and then they thought for a while I was going to be a vegetable. Thank God, through the prayers of family and friends, I believe, and myself, I got through it. However, I started harboring a revengeful attitude toward this assailant, who was a stranger, but I remember what he looked like, and I sought him out. In fact, I convinced myself that I should murder him. It felt like the devil was taking me over at night when I took a serrated knife from a kitchen drawer, put it underneath the seat of my car, and I would go out in my car to the drug rehab centers in the area looking for this guy, because I convinced myself that it wasn't because he hated me, and I didn't think it was because I looked like a girl or androgynously. I didn't think anybody would hate me. So I sort of convinced myself that he only did it because he was whacked out on drugs, and I would find him at this drug rehab center and I would get even. That's how, and I think I was also influenced by the heavy morphine I was on in my recovery period. So anyway, on the 7th night when I was out looking for this guy to knife him and kill him, I would always pray while I was driving that God would stop me and take this devil away from me that was getting me to do things out of character. And sure enough, when I was on the street where I felt the intuition I was going to see him and find him that night and kill him that night, I pulled the car over. I put both of my hands on the steering wheel. I rested my head on my hands, and I started praying deeper than I ever prayed in my life for about 70, 80, 90 seconds. And then, and I can't explain how it wasn't real water, but some force of energy came through the windshield, hit me in the face, knocked my head back against the headrest so hard that I had a strained neck for days and in pain for days from it. And at that same moment, all of that hateful feeling and revenge that I was having and stuff, and all that negative energy came up like a volcano out of me and just erupted and left me. And in its place, it felt like all positive energy and forgiveness filled that void in me. It was an incredible feeling. I was so amazed. I turned the car back on. I put it in reverse. I went home. I took the knife. I put it in the kitchen drawer. I didn't tell my wife or anybody about the experience for years. And then finally I did. Because I realized that even that negative event of being hit over the head with a baseball bat and almost killed had a positive silver lining to it. In fact, two positives. One is that prayers do work. God does help. And the second positive silver lining was that I was filled with positive energy and forgiveness, which would last me a lifetime, which it has. Thank you for the opportunity of sharing with you my baseball bat story.